So let's take a look at the differential before I tear anything apart further. Drive shaft is still attached. I've got the drums on the axles and the emergency brake is on. So here we go. There's a bit of a clunk in there. The pumpkin has been out, but because it's a closed differential, you can't see any of the side gears and the spiders and the pin inside there. So I did not think to take a look at that. However, I have a second complete differential and I took it apart, took the ring gear off, and then I took the differential apart, split it, opened, and I found that the spider gears were quite worn on the pin. So I replaced the pin and the spider gears, and the slop went down quite a bit. So that's what I'm going to do here. I bought another set of spider gears and a pin, and I'm hoping that's all it really needs. There's going to be a little bit of slop on the axles, quite likely there's a little wear on the splines going into the side gears, but I didn't buy any side gears right now. Next step is to take out the axles, and that's done by removing 4 nuts. But before I do that, let's just take a look at the slop here. There's a little bit. So there's a little bit of slop on the axle into the differential. So I'm pretty confident there's a little bit of that on the splines, but I'm hoping a lot of that is actually right inside the differential for the spider gears that are causing most of that. So you can see the nuts that I'm going to take off now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't really want to take off all the brakes, so that's why I'm just trying to pull the axle retainer out without taking off the brakes. I'm just going to put in a couple of bolts here just to keep this backing plate from dropping on the floor, maybe, and bending my brake lines. Don't know. It might cause a problem, or might not. I've got the axles out, so now I'm going to take the drive shaft off. 1/2-inch wrench takes off these nuts off of these U-clamps onto the rear yoke. I'll just push the drive shaft out of the way at the rear and leave it connected at the front so I don't have to worry about dripping on the tranny. Then after that, the next step is 9/16 on all of these nuts that hold the differential carrier or pumpkin or center section or whatever it is you want to call it, red thing. I'm going to remove those. Here's how you can tell it's a 9-inch rear end, because I cannot put a socket on these two. I have to use a wrench. I have oil dripping out at the bottom, and I've got a long chisel poked in. Finally broke the gasket. I'm going to let it drain so it stops dripping, and then I'm going to put my floor jack underneath it and lift it out. I think the weight of that is 80 or is it 85 pounds. So I'm not too anxious to lift it out on my stomach. My back is not capable of lifting 85 pounds under normal circumstances. And this time it's not normal. So there's going to be a good old floor jack. Well, it's out. I'm going to take out this center section here, so it's all closed. This is a closed system, so I can't see what's in it. So I'm going to have to take the main bearing caps off. Then I take all of these bolts out. I'll mark it so I know exactly where it comes from. Take the bolts out, pop these two halves apart, then I can get at the well, I can get at the side gears and I can get at the spider gears, and I can replace the pin. Remove these. Crown should drop down, well, probably after I hammer it down. I've got it marked so I know where to put it back together again in the same spot. And then there's a pin in there that I've got to remove to get the thing apart. Okay, we have all of the bolts. Those aren't bolts. All of the cap screws are loose. Sneaky old oil. Okay. So, one more check. I do have 3 marks on there, so I should be able to get it back in the right place. Well, it's moving. Okay. So that's off. So, it's about right there. I think it's moving. Yes, it is. It's coming out. I would say it's gone down far enough so it's let go of this, because it actually had a little friction on that. Don't know where the interference fit is coming from, but it's in there. Whoa. Boink, boink, pop. What we got going on in here? Okay. Boy, I hope these side gears are still usable. Well, anything's usable, but I should replace them. Anyway, let's make sure I don't swap these things around. So that one has been rubbing in that location for a long time. And so then I have to take out this pin. Okay. Didn't need a roll pin in that differential. There's no way it was going to come apart anyway. Too much abuse over the years. Oh, there she flies. Okay. So, that's the pin end. Oh, there it is. So there's a washer. Okay, that goes in there. Now, I've got all of these parts new. Let's just put this together and that together and just set this down like that for a bit. Another side gear. It was difficult to get apart, but what actually holds this together? It is the fit inside of here that fits inside of a ridge that pops out of the other piece. So it's machined correctly, but there's probably, well, I know that there is a bunch of dirt in there. In fact, I can, let's see, I can put a tool in here and I can scratch off cakes of carbon. So that was in there. And here. So I know that there's a carbon buildup in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my file and I'm just going to scratch and file on the inside of this piece all the way around, just to be sure that there's not a buildup that's in there as well. And I'm just going to be sure that there's no ridge around the edge. Now, one more cleaning job. I'm going to take some brake clean and clean in there. Okay, the razor blade does a good job of removing the carbon. Sure would be nice if there was a way of machining out some of the metal there to make it completely smooth. I guess I could take it to my neighbor up the alley and he might be able to put it on this metal lathe. But that still isn't going to solve my problem, because what I would need is a thicker spacer. I want to examine these parts. I'm very curious to know how much wear there is. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. I mean, yeah. But what I mean by nice is that I can actually see a lot of wear. There, I've got it kind of cleaned off. Okay, here's what I mean by nice. Extremely worn out. How much is that? That's 4/1000 of an inch, so times 2. It could be 8 or 10 thousandths on there of wear. And of course, if it's worn there, the bushings on the inside. Bushings? No, there's no bushings. It's just straight steel. I'm gonna clean that out just to look. Yeah, it's just machined steel on the inside. Anyway, so with that much wear, I'm smiling because I know that there's a lot of wear in here too. That's the way the other spider gears were and the other shaft. I don't know if I kept the other shaft or not. I might have thrown it in a bucket of recycled metal. So here we go with a new set. I'll set them right there. And here's the new pin. Set that right there. Yep, nice. Check these out. This is a little, check these out. It's a little dipper that rotates. So the differential must spin that way. It kind of dips into the oil, grabs a little bit of oil. What does it do with it? Oh, it puts it into the inside where the spider gears are and the side gears are. That's where it gets the oil to lubricate the inside. So if your oil level is too low, haha, just learned something. So if the oil level is, say, lower than the axle, these dippers are not going to dip in as it rotates. And it's not going to force oil into the inside, and you're going to run dry. Burn them out. Yep, okay. I was wondering how the oil got in there. That's how. Good to know. Very good to know. Okay, let's get back to business. So here's my shim for the one side gear. Let's put a little bit of oil in there. Let's get it a little bit closer. Here we go. Goes that way. There you go. And that goes down inside there. Rotate, rotate. Thank you very much. Nothing like a little bit more oil. Okay. Happiness is lots of gear oil. Put a little bit of oil on this shaft. And I'm going to start putting it through. Nope, goes through from this side because here's the hole over here. Okay, that's nice. Nope, I need it back out again. There we go. So now I need to put a shim and another shim. Now I need to put in a spider gear. Lubricate that a little bit, or a lot. Put that in there. And we'll do the other one. Lubricate that. Put that in there. Come on, get in there. It's going to take a little bit of tapping for some reason. Old one touches new one. Welcome to your new house. There it goes. Okay, it's in there. And I can see down through. There's no reason that I can't put that in there now, I would think. Not too hard. Okay, I'm gonna push up with my finger. There, it's going into the pin. So now it's got the pin held in the correct location. And it rotates. And there's lots of slime inside there, giving it lubrication. Nice. Good. I'm good with that. Then I'm going to put this in here like that. Then I'm going to put the spacer on like that. And then I'm going to put this all together. So here's my mark. I can see my mark is over here. And then there should be another mark that I put. Here's another mark I put right there. So that, now, do I ever have to take it apart again? It looks like I've got everything in there. Spacer, side gear, pin, spider gears, side gear, and spacer. So then this must go in next. Like that. And you know what? I think that it would be smart of me to tap the pin slightly up through so it sticks out. Because if it sticks out, then I know I've got it aligned exactly right. If it isn't aligned exactly right, when I put it in the first time, it is going to be very awkward, I can see, to fix. So, let's see. I'm going to take out this other side gear just for a little bit. Let's see if I can do it with the side gear in there. Maybe not. I'll try. Okay, there are the side gears through 3/16 of an inch. There, I can feel the indentation aligning. So now I know it has to be in exactly that spot. This large ridge here has to fit in exactly into this seating area. This is like putting in a wheel seal or an axle seal or something. It's got to go in straight or you're going to wreck it. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do any more hammering. I am going to put it all together with the cap screws. So when I lift the gear up to it, I'm going to tighten down the cap screws very slowly in a cross pattern, just so that I know it pops it down straight. And there's my mark, and there's my mark, and there's my mark. So that means that all of those bits and bobs must line up. So if I can start off with 3, let's see if I can get this to line up. Okay, the threads do touch before it gets too far on. Okay, I need an extra hand. Oh, that threaded on. Okay, the gap is really wide on this side for the crown gear. Okay, it's going in, the crown gear is going in evenly, which is nice. No, should be this way so you can see it. There we go. Okay. I've already done torque twice, so this is the last one. I've got it set for 72 pounds. So that's the first one, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip 2. That's 2. Three. So I followed the instructions. First you back off the right side of the differential so that the adjuster nut is loose. Then you tighten it down until there's no backlash. You tighten the right adjuster till there's no backlash, rotate it around, and I kept doing that until it was no backlash all the way around. Then you tighten up this nut until it just touches the bearing, and then you tighten it 2 notches. Okay, so I did that. That's your theoretical perfect position for preload and for a little bit of backlash. But I needed to tighten these nuts, so I'll go back and I'll redo all of that adjustment again now that I've got this torqued down. Here was the first cap screw that I tightened. and I skipped 2 each time I went around in order to torque them down. I did the torque in 3 different steps. Here is where I put a steel crowbar right in behind this nut. Right now the differential is on my vise upside down, because in the upside down position it's the only place with a large enough flange. If I tried to put it on the bottom into the vise, there was no real flange to clamp it to. So I've got it on the top flange upside down. But it just makes it so that I'm pulling up on the torque wrench when I'm torquing. If I had it right side up, I would be pushing down on the torque wrench, which would probably make it easier on my back. But that's the way it went. So left hand I used the bar here, and of course right hand I was pulling up to tighten each of these cap screws. Okay, I've got the crown gear all torqued in. So I've removed it again because I was doing a little bit of inspection. And I've now come to the end of this pumpkin. Check this out. No, I'm gonna cry. What do you think that is? Come on, is it focusing? I don't even know. It's a crack. Common, but it's shut, so this whole case is no good. I've got new spider gears and a pin in that one. That'll obviously come apart sometime with a big hammer. I won't care much about it anymore. But that's the end of this differential. Pulled the centerpiece out of this other differential, which I was running in the truck in the past. So now I'm going to check the torque on it, check the backlash, check the preload, and then pop it in. 4, 5. What can I say? Tools. Okay, here's a small one, hand tightening, and here's the large one. Check that. Anyway, that's for adjusting the bearings. This one is good for hand tightening, but as soon as you put a vice grip on it and reef on it, it'll bend. Right now I'm just going to back off this one. I'll do that by hand. Okay, back that off. So the book says, back that side off, tighten up this side so that you have no backlash. Right now I have backlash. You can hear it. So we'll tighten it up. Let's keep track of how much I had to tighten it. I'm curious about that. I'll just put a little mark here. Okay. So there's 1 notch. Still a little bit. 1.5. Okay, I would say 1.5 and the backlash has gone, but let's rotate it. Ooh, that's pretty tight. Yeah, that one's still loose. Okay, no backlash. Check all the way around. So then it says, tighten this one up till it just touches. Can you still see? Yeah, I think so. Then it says, tighten, this side is not supposed to change. Tighten this side up until it's 2 Yeah, 2.5 to 3 notches. Well, let's put a mark where I can see it. Oh, how about? Yeah, I can see that one. Okay. So this is that's one. Two. Yeah, see, we're starting to get some backlash. So it said 2.5 to 3. So the 2.5 to 3 is where you're going to get your adjustment. Now I'm going to start checking. Well, I can tell you one thing. The camera is not going to be able to see the dial, but whatever. So I have right now 1, 2, 3. I have 4 thousandths. So what did I say? 2, and I need at least another half. So there's a half. So that's the minimum case spread that I'm supposed to have on there. So this is 2, 4. I've got 5 1/4 thou at that spot. So I'm supposed to check it in 4 different positions. But what are the specs? So this one here is 3 thousandths, which is not enough. So I've got to have at least 4. So what did I say? I went 2.5. I'm going to give it another half. Which would make it a total of 3. So I'm looking at my mark. Okay, there's 3. Let's see if it made any difference. I wonder if I back this one off. Let's say if I take this one out half. There's half. Now I gotta tighten this one half to make up for it. So I'm going to say my preload is still the same as it was before, but I've moved it half of a notch. So half of a notch is what? Let's see what half a notch is. Half a notch is from 6 to. I would say half a notch is worth 1, 2. Half a notch is about 2 thou. Because I'm a little over 5 now, and I claimed I was 3 before. Okay, let's go all the way around, and we'll check it again. So that's 3, 90 degrees. This one is 3 that way, that's 6. 6. It's got to be that one. That is, I'm going to call that 7. And this one, I'm going to call that 5.5. We'll put 5. And we're back to this one, which I claimed was 3 before. Let's do the tooth beside it, just because it looks like it was off one time. Okay. I'm at 7 now. What's with that? What's with that? Where did this come from? Oh yeah, okay. So, I'm going to go a quarter of a turn back. I'm going to go a quarter of a turn for this one. Check it again. Well, that sounds like a clunk, but it's actually 5. Really? Yeah, it was 7 before. Okay, so I'm going to call this one scratch 5. Is that 90 degrees? We'll go with this one. One and a half, so that's 4, 5. Looks like about that one. And that one is from that to that, that's 6. And this one, what do we got? Five. Well, I'm not sure that I can get any better than that. So there you have it. I've got 5, 5, 5, and 6. Okay. Let's see if I can lift this thing and get it in there without dropping it on myself.